Hello everyone, Tony East here with Forbes in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So the Pacers just had their home opener and looked like they had a really good chance to win, up by 5 with about a minute to go, and they blew it in every way, losing in overtime to the 76ers. I'm sitting right by the 76ers bench, which is noteworthy because let's talk about the Sixers before I talk about the Pacers. The Sixers did not have Joel Embiid. They did not have Paul George. They're small. Guerschon Yabusele is their backup center. They don't have a lot of size outside of Andre Drummond, who had a wonderful game, which we'll talk about. But that team should not be one that the Pacers had this much trouble with, and yet in comes Rick Carlisle to the post-game press conference. He said most of his answers are going to revolve around two things, and he's absolutely right that those should be the highlights of the game: turnovers and rebounding. That is what crushed the Pacers in this game. 20 offensive rebounds for the Philadelphia 76ers. 20. Yes, Andre Drummond, a major part of that. He had 5. So did Yabusele. Caleb Martin had 4. Kelly Oubre had 3. Yes, Miles Turner did not have a good rebounding game. He deserves a ton of finger pointing for saying, hey, he's got to be better at keeping Drummond off the glass. They also need, as a whole team, to be better. I am not personally putting this on one player. I personally think it's a team thing, and that's what Carlisle stressed after the game. Hey, we stunk on the glass, and that was a huge, huge, huge part of this game for the Pacers, because you could look back at this and very easily say they outshot Philly by 3.5% from the field. The Pacers made 11 threes in this game. The Pacers made 2 more threes in this game and were 14% better from deep. They were even in the free throw battle. Lots of stuff that suggests should have been right in this game, and yet 13 more offensive rebounds for the 76ers in an even turnover battle means the 76ers took 14 more shots in this game than the Pacers did. That's the difference. Even if you out-efficiency a team, even if you can keep up from lots of other areas where efficiency can be paramount, you have no chance if it is that hard to actually take a shot. The possession battle was dominated by the 76ers, and that's this whole game. Rick Carlisle talked about it, and the turnovers and rebounds were the story late when this game was getting tight. Pacers got a huge sequence from Aaron Nesmith a couple times in the last 4 minutes of this game. He had 2 huge free throws to put them up 3. Then Andrew Nembhard hit a jumper with about a minute and a half to go to put the Pacers up 5. They had a great chance to win. 1 stop or 1 basket, and they win. Here's what happened on every possession after that. Kelly Oubre, 10-foot pull-up. Tyrese Halliburton drives on the Pacers' next possession. He's half blocked, half stripped. You could call it him getting blocked. You could call it a turnover. That was 15 seconds into a 24-second shot clock. Then Eric Gordon gets blocked, but Tyrese Maxey gets the rebound, and the Pacers foul him. There's an offensive rebound there's a rebound for the Sixers, and there's free throws for the Sixers. Then Andrew Nembhard, 11 seconds into 24-second possession. He turns it over. Then on the other end, Caleb Martin scores. Now the Pacers only have 1 with 32 seconds to go. Then 13 seconds into that possession, Tyrese Halliburton with a turnover. And the Sixers get 2 free throws. They get up by 3 late in this game. Fortunately for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton saved the day. But then in overtime, they could not get it done for the same reasons. Rebounding and turnovers just crushed them in this game. And that's how the Sixers got it done. They were way better in those hustle play categories, and the Pacers, they have to be better in those ways because they finally found their range tonight. 40.6% from deep, by far their best shooting game of the season. Tyrese Halliburton hit 40% of his threes. Miles Turner hit 40% of his threes. Pascal Siakam hit 50% of his threes. Ben Shepherd got going. They had shooting going. They were able to create shots and move the ball in a way that they haven't been able to throughout this season so far. Their offense did look a little better, especially in the second half. I thought their pace looked better. But none of that will matter if they can't get any sort of possession game going. Not enough rebounding, way too many turnovers, and that is what cost them this game because there's a lot of stuff they could have, in theory, been kind of happy with walking out of this building. Tyrese Halliburton did not play a good game because of those turnovers. He also missed a free throw that could have tied the game late. They were down 2 when he went to the foul line with under 10 seconds left in OT. He missed both, although the second one was a miss on purpose. And either way, his 22-point game overshadowed by having more turnovers than assists, and in general not his best game of the season. Andrew Nembhard, 3 for 11. He had 8 assists and only 1 turnover. He continues to initiate more, but he's got to be more efficient from the field. A couple misses in overtime he certainly would like to have back. Miles Turner had 4 steals and a block. I think some of those steals should have been categorized as blocks. 14 points, and yet getting his butt kicked by Drummond on the glass and 4 missed free throws will haunt his night. I thought Pascal Siakam was really good. I don't have as much negative to say about his game. And they dominated his minutes. They won his minutes by 14. Aaron Nesmith was the hero in a lot of ways late. 10 points, 7 boards for him. And a more efficient night. Less bad stuff to say about his game, although the juice hasn't really felt the same with him early in the season. Their starters were better. They needed that. TJ McConnell gave them energy they needed. Obi Toppin had 15 points. He was living at the foul line, right? They had good contributions from everybody. This could have been a game that, despite so much inconsistent play, so many hurdles, so many things not going their way, that they could look back on and said, cool, we can build on this, right? That this went better, that went better, a little bit more gelling, even though it wasn't perfect. And now they walk out 1-2. They lost a home game to a hobbled 76ers team, and they have played tomorrow in Orlando. Their schedule is not getting any easier. Celtics in town on Wednesday. I mean, their first 13 games are tough. Any game they have a chance to win, they need to. They were up 5 late, and they got it to overtime, and they still could not win. And now their upcoming stretch of opponents with 3 of 4 on the road is Orlando, Boston, New Orleans, Dallas, and then Orlando again, right? There's a very real chance the Pacers are 2-5, 1-6, and tonight would have made that feel a lot different. If you can get to 3-4, even with that tough a schedule, I think people could at least live with that, even though it's not there. But they did not. They just didn't get it done. The thing that I've been asking a lot about, 2 things stood out post-game, besides the turnovers and rebounding part that Carlisle discussed. One was, I asked Tyrese Halliburton straight up, hey, do you feel like yourself? He said no. That's it. That's all he said. And if I was better at my job, I would have asked why. But we can see why a little bit, I think. The pace isn't there. He's more off the ball. And I get that it's challenging for it to all come together with the way the Pacers want to play, with how they're playing, with what he's able to do right now, right? If he's just constantly not able to be that guy on the ball, then they should balance it the way they do. Siakam's playing great. Nembhard's passing has been really good. They need that to shift to, I think, a little bit more towards Halliburton. Either way, he said no. The other thing that I think was noteworthy from this team that I've been asking a lot about is their pace. They were so fast last year, right? One of the fastest teams in the league. And it was such a key part of their identity. And a lot of people have been talking about their ball movement not feeling the same as last year. I actually have felt like they're moving it pretty well. Their passes per game is second in the league. They were first last year. Their numbers are about the same. I think they are moving it pretty well. But I don't feel like the pace, the zippiness, the general urgency, the get into stuff quicker, the free-flowing part, that's what I feel like's been missing. And I can't even describe that any better than I just did. Also, now that I'm out on the court by myself right now, I apologize if there was a lot of noise from other people talking earlier. They're just cleaning up out here, doing their job. So that's what I feel like the Pacers need to get back to. Get their pace back. And some of this, as Aaron Nesmith was kind of describing to us in the locker room, was like they kind of got to forget about last year and play their game, whatever that may be, right? But some of this, to me, is they had an identity that worked. It was really set by one guy, but they could all execute it very well, and they can't do it right now. They cannot play their higher-paced style. They can't get into that sort of offense and look good this year. It just has not clicked in any sort of way. So how can they get back to that, right? Does it mean playing through Halliburton more at the expense of Siakam and Nembhard to some extent? And at the expense of is mostly passing for those two, although Siakam's been really, really good all season. Does it mean some sort of other change has to come? Does it mean just getting more rebounds and not having too many turnovers? Because they'll have the chances to do that stuff more. They were sprinting and flying early in the third quarter. They were up 68-61 at one point in the third quarter, and I thought, yes, this is the most Pacers like they've looked all season. And that went away, and they never were able to recover just because they couldn't get the possessions. The rebounding, the turnovers killed them. So much went wrong. This team does not look like the same team as last year, even though I did think there were pockets of this game like I just described in the second half where they did. They've got to figure that stuff out because their schedule is not giving them chances to really ease into this thing. They've got to find a way to get some wins. They've got to find ways to look better. Particularly, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Pacers have to look better on offense. And maybe more chances on offense will help them. Maybe defense can help them in that way. It has not yet this season. But they're 1-2 in a stretch they very easily could have been 2-1. They've got to pick up some wins this week against tough opponents. And we'll break it all down here on this very channel with more videos. For you Fever people here, yes, Christy Sides has been let go. And we will talk about that tomorrow, what it means, where their coaching search could be headed. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you very soon.